Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Let's talk about our crushes and have some fun.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton. With me as always is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hello.
I hadn't done that in a while. Welcome back to the show. It's 2025. It's been...
Not a real year.
It's not a real year. And we took a little break after the holidays, and now we're back to read new books, and we're full of it. We're full of energy, and we're full of vigor.
Nevertheless, we persisted.
Yes. I'm gonna bypass asking how you guys are, and I'm gonna introduce our guest, returning champion, Annamarie Damron. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Welcome back.
I made it till what time is it?
Oh yeah,
almost 7.
It's almost 7
p.m.
here. Who else can say that?
Yeah, it's such an accomplishment in 2025 to say it's almost 7 and you're still here.
It is. It really is. Well, welcome back. You're the first guest of the new year. And you're the first guest of a brand new book.
Ooh.
This book was recommended by none other than co-host Bekah Eaton.
Yes.
Ooh.
You picked this one.
I know her.
And I've never... Chris, tell us a little bit about Bekah.
Well, this is one of my best friends.
Aww.
Like the whole wide world.
Aww.
And she has good taste. So fucking
Thank
listen
you.
to her.
Oh, shit.
I hope this book is good. I haven't read it since the first time I read it, which was in probably 1999, the year that it came out. Why'd you say ooh?
Because I just realized,
like
it's not showing me
Oh.
the cover, and I need to pull the cover up so that we can do our classic Chris
Well, and
describe the cover.
You told me that you wanted to be surprised about what it was about.
Yes.
But I feel like I need to tell the listener and co-guest, host, whatever, something about it.
So also look up the summary on the back of it.
Oh, well, it's not showing me the back of the book. It's just...
I mean, I can tell you from me looking it up, but I didn't know if Jonathan was okay with hearing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bekah, tell us what book we're reading.
It's called Fearless. It's by Francine Pascal, who wrote the Sweet Valley books.
Okay.
Right? The Sweet Valley books?
I think so, right?
I'm on board.
Yes.
Yes, she wrote the Sweet Valley books. This Fearless book series ran from 99 to 2004, which was basically my high school years. Started high school in 2000. And as you can see from the cover, it is about a girl born without the fear gene.
And it's also so 1999.
It really
Like,
is.
just the image is so perfectly
Dark
1999.
lashes, light and almost invisible, and thin eyebrows.
Yeah, I feel like I can
Frosty
Wearing a
pink
choker.
lipstick. Yeah.
I can picture the rest of
Choker,
that t-shirt she's
Baby
wearing.
blue t-shirt.
Yeah.
It probably has a
the
Paul
t-shirt
Frank monkey
totally
on
has
it.
an angry bunny.
Yes. And that's basically it. I haven't read it since then, but the premise is so crazy that I'm hoping the book is fun and entertaining to read.
I just bought this book on Kindle, and I didn't even see the tagline that said, "A girl born without the fear gene."
So she's autistic. That's not true.
Holy shit. Oh no, that's great. I just read like the first couple words. I'm so excited about this book.
Good. Okay.
It was between, like, we were deciding between this and something else, and then you decided to do this, and I'm excited about it, and but then we were like, ooh, then we should do this, and then we should do, so we feel like we got some like really good books lined up.
Yeah.
For the next like couple books. I was gonna say episodes, but
I thought you were going to say months.
months would have been a better thing to say.
This is going great.
Guys, strap in, because mental health is bad.
We're all doing
and I'm
so well.
already not great at reading things out loud. So let's start reading Fearless. By the way, Fearless #1.
Yes.
The whole series.
Series.
It's a series. So this is the first one. Fearless by Francine Pascal. I'm guessing this is just chapter... I don't know if it's chapter 1 or if the chapters are just names.
What I was looking at on that little sample that you showed me, it looks like it's kind of set up a little bit funky.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I don't know if there are chapter numbers.
Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out. It's To My Daughters, Jamie Stewart,
No one cares about that.
Lori Wank, Susan Johansson.
Wank?
Wank. With
Okay.
an E. Chapter Gaia. The first chapter is called Gaia. Losers with no imagination. Oh, off to a great start. Losers with no imagination say that if you start a new school, there has to be a first day. How come they haven't figured out how to beat that? Just think existentially. All you do is take what's supposed to be the first day and bury it someplace in the next month. By the time you get around to it a month later, who cares? Oh, God, I'm going to cry reading this.
Why?
Just because it's already like, hey, are you going through trauma?
Oh.
That's a lot.
I'm already crying, so.
I cried like 4 times today. But one of them was because of a TV show.
When I first heard the word existential, I didn't know what it meant, so I never used it. But then I found out that no one knows what it means, so now I use it all the time. Since I just moved to New York last week, tomorrow would have been my first day at the new school. But I existentialized it. And now I've got a good 30 days before I have to deal with it. So, like, it'll just be a regular day, and I'll just grab my usual school stuff, jeans and a t-shirt, and throw them on. I really appreciate that it has like in there.
Also, that's not a bad way of kind of reframing that situation.
Honestly, yeah, I'm not against it. Then, just like I always do, I'll take them off. Oh, she's talking about her jeans and t-shirt.
Oh.
Then, just like I always do, I'll take them off and throw on about 18 different t-shirts and 4 different pairs of jeans before I find the right ones that hide my diesel arms and thunder thighs.
I thought she meant all at once.
Oh, like Joey.
Like Joey.
and Friends.
Growl noise.
What are diesel arms?
Like real strong, beefy arms. Like, strong.
What's bad about that?
Nothing.
What the fuck?
Well, early
sounds
2000s,
fantastic.
everyone had to be twigs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the heyday of the supermodel.
If only you could go back in time and be like, diesel arms and thunder thighs are hot.
Yeah.
Not good things on a girl, but no one else seems to see them like I do.
We see you, Gaia.
We see you, Gaia. Is her name Gaia? Mm-hmm. Oh my god. I won't bother to clean up when I'm done. Ew.
Changing clothes?
And what was that read? That was... We're off to a great fucking start, ladies and
On the
gentlemen.
first page.
So are we reading both?
Yeah.
On the screen? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to trick my new cohabitants, George and Ella, into thinking that I'm neat.
Neat?
Into thinking that I'm neat or considerate or anything. It's not written much crazier than I made it sound. Why set them up for disappointment? I made that mistake with my old cohabitants, and, well, I'm not living with them anymore, am I? I'm so confused. What is she talking about, cohabitants? George...
Is she saying she is going to clean up, or she's not, or she doesn't want to?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, George Niven was my dad's mentor in the CIA. What the fuck? He's old. Like 50 or something. Fuck you, Gaia. His wife, Ella, is much younger. Maybe 30. I don't know. And you certainly can't tell from the way she dresses. Middle of winter, she finds a way to show her belly button. And she's got 400 of these little elastic bands that you can only pass for a skirt if you never move your legs.
Okay. Top that with this unbelievable iridescent red hair, and you've got one hot 17-year-old. At least that's what she thinks. We all live cozy together in Greenwich Village in a brownstone. That's what they call row houses in New York City. Don't ask me why, because it isn't brown, but we'll let that go for now. I love this.
Is that what it says?
Yes.
This book is
I
awesome
love
so
it.
far.
Aside from all the body shaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how this transfer
It's
of...
1999. What else? What are you going to do?
Yeah. I'm not sure how this transfer of me and my pathetic possessions was arranged. Not by my dad. He is out of the picture. Words capitalized.
Wait, so she's living with her dad's CIA mentor and his wife?
Yes.
Okay.
No letters, no birthday cards. He didn't even contact me in the hospital last year when I almost fractured my skull. And no, I didn't almost fracture my skull to test my dad, as a certain asshole suggested. I haven't seen him since I was 12. Since I guess it's time to back up a little.
Oh my god.
This
You're probably
feels-
wondering how I got here.
No, this feels like the opening monologue of a 90s movie.
Oh, it
Alias.
absolutely does. Yeah.
Yeah, alias Gaia. My name is Gaia. Guy, Yes, it's a weird name. No, I don't like explaining it right now. Or I don't feel like explaining it right now. I am 17. The good thing about 17 is that you're not 16. 16 goes with the word sweet, and I am so far from sweet. I've got a black belt in Kung Fu, and I'm trained in karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai, which is basically kickboxing. I've got a reflex speed that's off the charts. I'm a near perfect shot. I can climb mountains, box, wrestle, break codes in 4 languages. I can throw a 175-pound man over my shoulders, which accounts for my disgusting shoulders.
Does she work for the CIA?
Find out.
I think she's about to.
Oh my god.
I can kick just about anybody's ass. I'm not bragging. I wish I were. I wish my dad hadn't made me into the ... thing I am.
What the fuck? This is so awesome.
The best.
I have blonde hair, not yellow fairy tale blonde, but blonde enough to stick me in the category. You know, so guys expect them to hit on you. So teachers set your default grade at B-, C+ if you happen to have big breasts, which I don't particularly. My friend from before, Ivy, had this equation between your grades and cup size, but I'll spare you that. Thank you.
Oh, I have to read this now.
Read about
All right.
boobs and blonde hair.
Read about teenage high school boobs, Chris.
Back in 9th grade, I dyed my way right out of the blonde category. But after a while, it got annoying. The dye stung and turned my hands orange. To be honest,
Gotta
though,
use gloves.
Does dye sting?
and I'm not a liar.
If it's
Which-
like real bleachy dye, bleach burns,
Oh, it
but
can
like
burn.
dye itches, but you can take care of that with a plastic fork.
Okay.
To be honest, though, and I'm not a liar, so she's gonna be asked to lie at some point. There's another reason I let my hair grow back. Being blonde makes people think they can pick on you, and I like when people think they can pick on me. You see, I have this handicap. That's the wrong word. I am hormonally challenged. I am never afraid. I just don't have the gene or whatever it is that makes you scared. It's not like I'll jump off a cliff or anything. I'm not an idiot. My rationality is not defective. In fact, it's extra good. They say nothing clouds your reason like fear, but then I wouldn't know. I don't know what it feels like to be scared.
Holy shit.
It's like if you don't have hope, how can you imagine it? Or being born blind, how do you know what colors are? I guess you'd say I'm fearless. Whatever fear is. If I see some big guy beating up on a little guy, I just dive in and finish him off. And I can, because that's the way I've been trained. I'm so strong you wouldn't believe, but I hate it. Since I'm never afraid of anything, my dad figured he'd better make sure I can hold my own when I rush into things. What he did really worked too, better than he expected. See, my dad didn't consider nature.
Okay. It's not like the worst instinct.
What?
If your daughter is like, I was born without the fear gene, so I
Yeah.
have no fear, to be like, well, you should fight.
Or at least learn how to
Or
throw
like,
a punch.
learn how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
She's Lady Jack Reacher. Which some listeners might get.
I don't get it, but I trust you.
Nature compensates for its mistakes. If it forgot to give me a fear gene, it gave me some other fantastic abilities that definitely work in my favor. When I need it, I have this awesome speed, enormous energy, and amazing strength, all quadrupled, because there's no fear to hold me back.
But then I feel like shit afterwards. When I crash, it's really bad.
It's even hard for me to figure out. People talk about danger and being careful. In my head, I totally understand, but in my gut, I just don't feel it. So if I see somebody in trouble, I just jump in and use everything I've got.
And that's big stuff. And it's intense. I mean, you ever hear that story about the mother who lifted the car off her little boy?
Yes.
That's like the kind of strength regular people can get from adrenaline. Except I don't need extra adrenaline because without fear, there's nothing to stop you from using every bit of power you have.
Is that how it works?
I don't think that's how it works.
Excuse me, she's an expert on her own part.
I'm so
Don't
sorry.
tell her how it
I'm
works.
so sorry. I didn't mean to fear shame her.
And a human body, especially a highly trained one like mine, has a lot of concentrated power. But there's a price. I remember once reading about the Spartans. They were these fantastic Greek warriors about 400-something BC. They beat everybody. Nobody could touch them. But after a battle, they'd get so drained, they'd shake all over and practically slide to the ground.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens to me.
Yeah.
It's like I use up everything and my body gets really weak and I almost black out. But it only lasts a couple of minutes. Eventually, I'm okay again. And there's one other thing that works in my favor. I can do whatever I want because I've got nothing to lose. See? My mother is not here
Why are the letters all spaced fucked up?
anymore.
Is this a
She's a
artistic
robot.
choice or?
Oh.
CMY mother IS ... NOT here anymore.
Like, okay, E. Cummings.
Poetry joke.
I don't really care that my dad is gone because I hate his guts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any brothers or sisters. I don't even have grandparents. Well, actually,
I killed them.
or she's a robot, which is
Or
my
was
new
born in a lab.
theory.
If this
Well,
is the
actually,
second fucking girl robot book we read, I swear to God.
It's small wonder. Well, actually, I do think I have one grandparent, but she lives in some end-of-the-world place in Russia, and I get the feeling she's a few beans short of a burrito. That works for Russia.
Do Russians eat burritos?
No!
All the time.
No.
No! She's a few
This is a
heads of
tangent.
cabbage short of a cabbage salad.
Just haven't talked back in '99.
Tangent is a heinous word for two reasons. It appears in my
this podcast.
trigonometry book. Ella, the woman whom the woman with whom I now live, never to be confused with a mother, accuses me of going off on them. Where was I? Right. I was telling you my secrets. It's probably all
Might have been right about the autism.
yeah. I think I called it.
I think you did.
It probably all boils down to 3 magic words. I don't care. I have no family. Pets or friends. I don't even have a lamp or a pair of pants I give a shit about. I don't care.
You don't have
Nobody
one
can
favorite
make
pair
me.
of pants.
Right?
That's impossible.
Come
There's
on.
always one that
We
fits
know
better
she
than
has
all the
a
other
pair
ones.
of pants because she talked about them.
She already talked about, yeah.
She must at least have a pair of pants that she gave a shit in.
Ew.
Yeah, I mean, we got an unreliable
We'll let that
narrator here.
Just hang there.
And
Yeah, finish
do you
this
want me to
page.
continue since
Yeah.
it's like nothing?
Yeah.
and nobody can make me. Ella says I'm looking for trouble. For a dummy, she hit it right this time. I am looking for trouble.
Christ.
All right, so I'm fully on board with this book.
I love
point.
this book so far.
Great start.
Oh, okay. I don't know what this is. So the next page is like a poem. It says it's like the title says "A Walking Trap," and then the body. He lay sprawled in a half-conscious pile, and she was tempted to demand his wallet or his watch or something. Oh, whatever the fuck.
That's all it
means.
was?
That's all it was.
Okay.
The next page says "The Point," chapter. The Point. Don't go into the park after sunset. It was in italics. That's why I read it like that. The warning rolled around Gaia Moore's head as she... Oh, now we're in third person. Ooh, this book. The warning rolled around Gaia Moore's head as she crossed the street that bordered Washington Square Park to the east. She savored the words as she would a forkful of chocolate cheesecake. There was a stand of trees directly in front of her and a park entrance a couple 100 feet to the left. Tangent. I've only ever heard it referred to as a stand of trees in books. I've never heard a person say, "Look at that stand of trees." People just say, "Look at those trees."
I think this is the first time I've ever heard it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like I just read it in a book. I might have read it in the Pendergast book I'm reading.
They say weird stuff in those books.
Yeah.
They do talk in ways that people don't talk
Like
out loud.
outdated literary ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
26 years ago, they still said that.
That can't be how long ago.
Don't.
That can't be
Don't
how
do the
long
don't do
ago
the
that
don't do
was.
the math. Don't do the math. There was a stand of trees directly in front of her and a park entrance a couple 100 feet to the left. She hooked through the trees, feeling the familiar fizz in her limbs. It wasn't fear, of course. She had none. It was energy, maybe even excitement. The things that came when fear should have.
Or
She
lactic acid.
She passed. So this is the same year that Fight Club came out. That's interesting. Because I was like, she should join a Fight Club.
You think Francine Pascal read Fight Club was like, I could do that?
Holy shit!
Teenage Girl Fight
What
Club.
if this book is Francine Pascal's Fight Club? That'd be
Or
awesome.
like the Born Identity, and she was like, I could do that.
I could do that. Make her 17 though, and blonde. She passed slowly through a grassy stretch, staying off the lighted paths that snaked inefficiently through the park. As the crow flies.
I love that phrase.
That's how she liked to walk. So what if she had nowhere to go? So what if no one on Earth knew or probably cared where she was or when she'd get home? That wasn't the point. It didn't mean she had to take the long way. She was starting a new school in the morning, and she meant to put as much distance between herself and tomorrow as she could.
That's
Walking
a good
fast.
sentence.
Yeah, we've all been there. Walking fast didn't stop the Earth's slow roll. Sometimes it felt like it could.
That was not a good sentence.
You win some, you lose some.
She passed the midway point marked by the miniature Arc de Triomphe before she caught the flutter of a shadow out of the corner of her eye. She didn't turn her head. She hunched her shoulders so that her tall frame looked smaller. The shadow froze. She could feel eyes on her back. Bingo. The mayor
I can't
liked
believe neither of you did the shadow nose, but the shadow froze voice.
Oh, fuck! How did you... That's great.
It's because we've ruined her as a person.
Yes. Your influence has ruined me.
Oh no, we've put it in your head. Now your head's full of the same shit that
Yeah,
ours
it's full
is.
of your
Or
same
you
dumb
listen to
jokes, but
too
I can't
much-
do the impression, so I just wait to see if you do them.
Okay,
Or
hang
you
on.
listen to too much WTMD. I don't know.
She hunched her shoulders so her tall frame looked smaller. The shadow froze. How was that? Was that good?
That was great.
She could feel eyes on her back. That's a bingo. The mayor liked to brag how far the New York City crime rate had fallen. But Washington Square at night didn't disappoint. Pretty sure the mayor is Giuliani. It's 1999. I'm just saying. In her short time here, she'd learned it was full of junkies who couldn't resist a blonde girl with a full wallet, especially under the cover of night. Gaia didn't alter the rhythm of her steps. An attacker proceeded differently when he sensed your awareness.
All the names to pick.
Any deception was her advantage. The energy was building in her veins. Come on, she urged silently. Her mind was beautifully blank. Her concentration was perfect. Her ears were pricked to decipher the subtlest motion. Yet she could have sensed the clumsy attacker thundering from the brush if she'd been deaf and blind. A heavy arm was thrown over her shoulders and tightened around her neck. "Oh, please," she muttered, burying an elbow in his solar plexus. As he staggered backward and sucked for air, she turned on him indignantly. Yes, it was a big, clumsy, stupid him, a little taller than average and young, probably not even 20 years old. She felt a tiny spark of hope as she let her eyes wander through the bushes. Maybe there were more. The really incompetent dopes usually traveled in packs, but she heard nothing more than his noisy X-rated complaints. She let him come at her again. Might as well get a shred of a workout. She even let him earn a little speed as he barreled toward her. She loved turning a man's own strength against him. That was the essence of it. We're missing a lot of punctuation in this book. She reversed his momentum with a fast knee strike and finished him off with a front kick. He lay sprawled in a half-conscious pile, and she was tempted to demand his wallet or his watch or something. Oh, see, it was like a little preview, the thing that John read. A smile flickered over her face. It would be amusing, but that wasn't the point, was it? Just as she was turning away, she detected a faint glitter on the ground near his left arm. She came closer and leaned down. It was a razor blade, shiny but not perfectly clean. In the dark, she couldn't tell if the crud on the blade was rust or blood. She glanced quickly at her hands.
Crud, rust, or blood?
Thursdays at 7.
That's like the worst game show possible.
Everyone gets tetanus at the end.
No one wins.
Yeah. No,
They're all smiling.
Jesus. She glanced quickly at her hands. No, he'd done her no harm, but it lodged in her mind as a strange choice of weapon. Just a blade, like one empty blade.
Just a loose razor
Just
blade?
a loose blade.
All right. Am I doing this one and the next one?
Yeah.
Or are you
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
this one? All right.
I don't feel like reading
So
more.
also it switched perspective. It was first person, now it's third. Which is weird.
It switched at the start of John.
This
at
whole
the start of the
chapter's been
chapter.
third person.
She walked away without bothering to look further. She knew he'd be fine. Her specialty was subduing without causing any real damage. He'd lie there for a few minutes. He'd be sore, maybe bruised tomorrow. He'd brush the cobwebs off his imagination with a capital I to invent a story for his buddies about how 3 7-foot, 300-pound male karate black belts attacked him in the park. But she would bet her life on the fact that he would never sneak up on another fragile-looking woman without remembering this night. And that was the point. That was what Gaia lived for.
Hell
Or
yeah,
he
Gaia.
would do it again with more gusto.
No.
I hope this
No
book
more
gets
crimes for
super
him.
violent.
An easy crowd. Who can come to the board and write out the quadratic formula? Silence. A volunteer, please? I need a volunteer. No. Gaia sent the teacher telepathic missiles. Do not call on me. This book's amazing.
Did anyone else do that when they were in school? Like the teacher would say something and you would try to telepathically be like, no.
Yeah.
Only in
I
Catholic
just
school.
Shrink as small as possible. Try to hide behind someone else's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're the cool kids.
Yeah.
Come on, kids. This is basic stuff. You're supposed to be the advanced class. Am I in the wrong room? The teacher's voice, what was the woman's name again, was reedy and awful sounding.
All
This
right, kiss.
book hates women.
It really does. Well, it was 1999.
Gaia really should have remembered the name, considering this was not the first day. No, no, no. The teacher's eyes swept over the second to back row twice before they rested on Gaia. Shit! You, in the brown, is it? What's your name? Gaia. Gay what? So
Gay
hold
butts.
Gay
on.
what?
Just in the context of the book,
What the?
it's written as Gaia, and the teacher says gay what?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be Gaia?
Oh.
Or is the
no.
teacher
Well,
just
no.
a dick?
No,
Because
because
I've had
the
teachers
teacher's
that
a
are
dick.
dicks.
Teacher's a dick.
Because she already said it earlier, like guy,
Oh,
and
she
then
did.
if you read ahead a little bit, she does it again.
She did
Okay.
phonetically
Yeah.
spell it out.
I'm
Well,
just
it's
getting
also not clear if
flashbacks.
the teacher said gay what or one of the students did.
Oh.
Oh, it is not clear.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, keep reading, Chris.
We'll just picture some rude
it was
asshole
just like some
boy.
Yeah.
Every
Say,
member
gay
of-
what?
Gay what?
And elbowing his friends.
Yeah.
Every member of the class snickered. The beautiful thing about Gaia was that she didn't hate them for laughing. In fact, she loved them for being so predictable. It made them so manageable.
That was a great line.
There was nothing those buttheads could give that Gaia couldn't take. Guy, parenthetical, pause, parenthetical, The teacher cocked her head as if the name were some kind of insult. Right then. Come on up to the board, Guy, parenthetical, pause, parenthetical, The class snickered again. God, she hated school. Gaia dragged herself out of her chair. Why was she here anyway? She didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer. She didn't want to be a CIA agent or a Green Beret or super operative X-Files type like her
Why not?
dad had obviously hoped.
Why not?
What did she want to be when she grew up? She loved that question. A waitress. She wanted to serve food at some piece of crap greasy spoon and wait for a customer to bitch her out or stiff her on the tip or pinch her butt. She'd travel across the country from one bad restaurant to the next and scare people who thought it was okay to be mean to waitresses. And there were a lot of people like that. Nobody, capital N, got more shit than a waitress did. Well, maybe telemarketers, but they sort of deserve it. Gaia, any day now. Snicker, snicker. This was an easy crowd. Miss What's-Her-Face must have been thrilled with her success. Gaia hesitated at the board for a moment. You don't know it, do you? The teacher's tone was possibly the most patronizing thing she had ever heard. God. Gaia? Yeah, Gaia didn't answer. She just wrote the formula out very slowly, appreciating the horrible grinding screech of the chalk.
She's quit.
She's doing a quit.
She's doing a quit.
Okay. Appreciating the horrible grinding screech of the chalk as she drew the equal sign. It sounded a lot like the teacher's voice, actually.
Oh. What?
Oh, there's an equation.
Yeah.
Uh,
Insert math equation here.
Yeah.
These are really weird, small pages.
The layouts are really
The
strange.
layout's very strange. But yeah, just read this one too.
Cool. At the last second, she changed the final plus to a minus sign. Of course she knew the formula. What was she? Stupid? Her dad had raced her through basic algebra by 3rd grade. She begrudgingly mastered multivariable calculus and linear I can't say that.
No, it's okay. I don't
Linear.
know what any of this is.
Linear.
I don't know what it is.
Linear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Linear algebra.
I enjoyed algebra. I
Yeah.
did the most basic algebra class. I never did calculus or trigonometry or any of that other shit.
Yeah, I did
My-
geometry.
Geometry. I had one of those too.
Geometry
That
shapes
was
though,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. It's
I
like
literally
shapes and
just
measuring
did a
shapes.
triangle with my hand. I'm like, geometry?
Yeah, geometry.
Geometry.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Is
angle.
there non-linear algebra? That might be a stupid question because people who are smart might hear this and say, yes.
I
But-
don't know because algebra is like I don't know. I just remember solving equations and
just like
but
A plus
it's not
X.
all
I
that
don't wanna
linear
be
because
that
some
kinda
stuff
smart.
happens on both sides.
Yeah.
We're all
don't know.
creatives, not math people.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a math group.
We're
here.
geometry
I like
people.
words.
We
Like
What was
linear.
the math class I took in college?
Oh, mine was so
What was
condescending.
it called?
Annamarie, do you remember what the AACC math class was that was for
Ooh, I
losers?
remembered mine.
So I took statistics at AACC,
Okay.
and my professor let us do the whole like bring a note card thing, and she's like, you can only use the front and the back to put your formulas on there, and it's like, okay, well I can write really small, so it's like basically just like everyone got an A.
Basically got a cheat sheet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My math class was called Mathematical Ideas.
Oh.
And all I remember about it was doing some stuff with Venn diagrams and me having to help some other kids in class with their Venn diagrams.
Amazing. I feel like mine was very similar.
They really should just call it math for creatives.
It basically was. Like, whatever class I took was basically just, like, math for...
Like, we know you need a math credit, and we know you won't be able to do any math.
Or something?
It might have been something like that. Whatever it was like, really nebulous and, like, yeah, I know we talked about, like, the golden ratio and that kind of shit. I still got a C in it.
Aw, you dummy.
I'm so
glad
dumb.
I never went to
with math.
college.
It was so pointless. I took a science class called Light and Color.
Ooh.
And all I remember was kind of learning about prisms, which seems like something you should...
Though.
But that seems like something you should learn in, like, 3rd grade, not in fucking college.
Well, and I took a class that, again, I don't remember the name of it, but it might have just been called, like, Everyday Physics, because it was just, like, physics for, like, you idiot kids. And that was the class in which the teacher showed the magnet video that I became obsessed with. Because that teacher also just didn't give a fuck, and he's like, I found this in the library. It's real weird. We're going to watch it today.
Amazing.
Well,
Tell me more about nonlinear algebra.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our friend Gaia might also hate math,
Good.
but she was good at it. I'm sorry, Gaia. That's incorrect. You may sit down. Gaia tried to look disappointed as she shuffled to her chair. Talk to me after class about placement, please, the teacher said in a slightly lower voice, as if the rest of the students wouldn't hear. She found Gaia unfit for the class. Yes, ma'am, Gaia said brightly. It was the first ray of light all day. She demoted herself to memorizing times tables as if it meant getting a different teacher. Timetables actually came in pretty handy for a waitress. What with figuring out the tips and all.
This is like the weirdest stream of consciousness book.
Oh, it really is.
I don't even know what to write down.
I don't know.
It's a very fearless way of writing.
Chris, for the listener who can't see us, Chris keeps doing some really good crowd work every time he says the word fearless. You're like
It's just
whipping
so
around in your chair.
Fearless.
Oh, this chapter is called Not Cloying.
What?
I don't know. He saw her right after the 7th period bell rang. She seemed dressed for the sole purpose of blending in with the lockers, but she stood out anyway. It didn't matter that her wide blue eyes were narrowed or that her pretty mouth was twisted into a near snarl.
So she's played by Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, she would crush this.
Wow.
But don't forget the diesel arms and thunder thighs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Anya
true.
Taylor-Joy, if
She's
she
very
got
skinny.
jacked.
Yeah, she needs to get jacked for
Yeah.
this role. She can do it.
She could do it.
A little bit Jack and Furiosa.
She
Oh,
was
that's true.
She was blatantly beautiful. Blatantly Beautiful was my band's name.
can get there.
In high
You
school.
can
I
get
can get there. I was
That
trying to
sound-
think of a cover band. Michael
It
Bolton.
sounds like something I would have wrote in 1999.
Blatantly Beautiful
Yeah.
in your gurnal.
Yeah.
It was kind of sick the way Ed was preoccupied with beautiful girls these days. Ugh, Ed. There weren't many people left in the hall at this point. He, of course, had permission to take his own sweet time getting to class, and she was probably lost. Look at her. Just a girl. She doesn't know where
Wide
she
eyes.
is.
Probably don't even know where she's going.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Probably
picturing
looking for
her in like
predators.
Got eyes like
light,
a fish.
like light beige linen khaki, because that's the only thing I can think of as blending into school lockers. They were always like light tan.
Yeah. I think ours were blue.
Oh, okay.
Or gray? I don't remember.
Ours were either light tan or light gray.
Yeah. She was probably lost. She cast him a quick glance as she strode down the hall, the kind of glance where she saw him without actually seeing him. He was used to that. He felt a little sorry for her. He was also preoccupied with finding ways of feeling sorry for people. What? Okay. She was new and trying hard not to look it. She was confused and trying to look tough. It was endearing is what it was. It was endearing is what it was.
Just, her eyes are wide.
Hey, can I help you find a classroom or anything? She swiveled around and glared at him like he'd made a lewd remark. Was she some kind of mind reader? Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm sure he was being very subtle, standing there, staring at her. Mouth.
Laser beams.
Yeah.
She's,
Probably had his arm up on something.
excuse me, she demanded. She wasn't afraid to give him a good once-over. You look lost, he explained. Now she was angry. This is not what lost looks like. This is what annoyed looks like. And no, I don't need any help. Thanks. It was the spikiest, least gracious thanks he'd ever heard. Anytime, he said, trying not to smile. What's your name? Does it matter? She couldn't believe he was prolonging the conversation.
Mine's Ed, by the way. I'm so happy for you. She gave him an extra snarl before she bolted down the hall to the science wing. She's a lot more fun than reading the Wakefield twins.
Oh my god, I know.
I feel like Francine
she's an
Pascal
assassin.
must have been like, I need a girl to like kick everyone's ass
Yeah.
and be an unapologetic bitch instead of these two crazy
She
girls.
spent 15 years, writing the Wakefields and then was like, I gotta
What?
Yeah,
redeem
I need
myself.
a tough one.
Yeah.
She spent 15 years writing the Wakefields and was like, what if they were one character?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my god, Chris.
What if they reintegrated?
Wow.
I'm a genius.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
He smiled all the way to physics class. He almost laughed out loud when he passed through the door and saw her shadowy, hunched-over form casting around for a seat in the back. Just, like, pacing, like, manically.
But also, like, she, like, in the park, she, like, hunched, and now she's, like, hunched up. I'm just picturing
she
her
said
like
she
a little
was tall. I
gremlin.
wonder how tall she's supposed to be. Yeah. Like a little ghoul.
Just, like, just running around like a ghoul, like, looking for
Yeah.
boys' faces to scratch.
That sounds great. She was in his class. This was excellent. Maybe she'd call him a name if he struck up another conversation. Does he have, like... What's that
negging.
called? No. Like, he wants
he
to
static?
be nagged. Like,
Yeah.
What's it called?
Or masochist?
Like, no, degradation king. That's what it is.
Tell me I'm bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Even curse him out. That might be fun. God, he'd probably earn himself a restraining order if he tried to sit next to her.
Ew. He's gonna come in his pants if she
Yes.
does that.
What is this book?
He was so tired of saccharine smiles and cloying tones of voice. People always plastered their eyes to his face for fear of looking anywhere else. What?
What? Is he handsome?
You don't look at someone's face because you're scared to look at anything else. He was fed up with everybody being so goddamn nice. But yeah, is he like, check out my pecs?
I'm worried about these two. I'm calling
Yeah.
intervention already.
Yes, pre-intervention.
They
First
both
day.
have too much confidence.
That's why
the
he'd already
counselor's office with you both.
yeah. That's why he'd already fallen in love with this weird, maladjusted, beautiful girl who carried a chip the size of Ohio on her shoulder. Because nobody was ever mean to the guy in the wheelchair. Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
Way to bury the fucking lead.
Wow, okay. And now we're at a letter, I guess. This is all in italics.
Okay.
September 23rd. My dearest Gaia, I saw a mouse race across the floor of my apartment today and it made me think of you. What doesn't make me think of you? It reminded me of the winter of Jonathan and your secret efforts to save his little life. Oh, your little life.
The winter of Jonathan? That's what I'm calling.
Well,
dude.
Jonathan's
little
probably a mouse.
Still
the
got a
winter
winter named after me.
I'd never imagined I'd think longingly upon an oversized gray field mouse whose contribution to our lives was 1,000 turds from the kitchen counter.
He's oversized. He's not that small.
And
a giant mouse shitting all over the counter.
Well, yeah, mouse has got a
But
shit.
I grew to love him almost as much as you did. What the fuck? Okay, this is not in italics. I don't know who's talking. Oh, Gaia, it feels as if it's been so long. Do you still love rodents and other despised creatures? Do you still carry a pocket full of pennies for luck? Do you still eat your cereal without milk? Do you ever think about me anymore? Italics again. I write it and think it so often, it's a mantra. But Gaia, how desperately I hope you'll forgive me someday. You'll understand why I did what I did, and you'll know it was because I love you. I have so many doubts and fears, my darling, and they seem to grow as the days between us pass. But I know I love you. I'd give my life for you again. Is this okay? I'm just gonna finish
That's
reading
fine.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Non-italics. Tom Moore lifted the pen at the sound of the beeper. I guess that's her dad. God, he hated that sound. He didn't need to look at the readout to know who was summoning him. It wasn't as if he had men's and his family swarming about. It was his self-inflicted punishment that if he couldn't be with his daughter, he would be alone.
What?
He snatched the wretched little device from his desk and threw it across the room, mildly amazed at his own rare show of temper, as the beeper bounced off the windowsill and skittered across the wood floor. It was always the same people. It was always an emergency. By tomorrow, he'd be in a different time zone. Before he picked up the phone, he walked to the ancient aluminum filing cabinet and opened it. He thumbed through the files without needing to look. Locating the thick pile of papers, he placed the letter at the front, just as he always did with all the others, unsent and locked in the drawer. Ugh.
Jesus. What the fuck? What? Guys, by the way, though, like, can you write down Winter of Jonathan?
Winter of Jonathan. Okay. You said guys, but I'm the one with the pen.
Yeah, but I wanted the whole team to be a part of this.
I mean, that just jumped perspective to her dad without any
I don't
warning.
understand who
Like,
did
in the
the
middle of a
formatting
chapter?
of this. It should
I don't
have been a whole different chapter.
This is like House of Leaves for kids.
Okay, so far we've been in Gaia's brain. There's a narrator. There's the
Yes.
guy in the wheelchair and her dad.
Yeah,
and then we have these
these
little-
like poems.
And then we have these little, but okay, you were walking in when I was figuring out what the last one was. It was like a little clip of what happened in the next chapter.
Oh.
Because the same words were said.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a flash forward.
So this
Yeah.
is our lost flash forward.
This really feels like a TV script that they were like, let's just make it a book.
Did they do a TV show of this?
I will
Because
Google
I
it.
was looking this book up and I saw a couple of like pictures that I'm like, that looks like stills from a TV show. And if they made a TV show, I want to fucking watch it.
All right. am
Read
going
while I
forward?
Google.
Go ahead, Chris.
All right. This is one of them not haiku pages. A stupid hobby. McDougal and LaGuardia, slashing victim, female African American in her 30s, young male perpetrator. Next page. Her favorite place. Hello, Cindy.
What?
Hi, Zolov. What's shaking?
What the
Shaking?
Oh,
I'm just reading it as it's written.
no.
What is happening?
Gaia laughed. How are you playing? Zolov worked his mouth. He drew
Zolov?
his wrinkly brown hand over his lips, thinking about the question seriously. I beat everyone. Of course you did, Gaia said loudly. You're the best. He nodded absently. Thank you. You are a good girl. In spite of the fact she was practically shouting at him, Gaia could tell he was reading her lips and that it was tiring for him. He sat back in the sunshine, ready for his next opponent, who would very likely not show. His favorite chessboard was set. As always, it was presided over by one of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a red helmeted action figure he'd probably picked up in somebody's garbage. He never played without him. It sounds like I'm making it all up, and I'm not. I'm just reading it word for word.
My mouth has been agape this whole page.
Gaia would have sat down across from him if she'd had more than 20 cents in her pocket. Instead, she lay back on the bench and closed her eyes. This park, these chess tables, was Gaia's favorite place. It was her home in New York more than George and Ella's house ever would be. Zolov was at least 90 years old and thought her name was Cindy, but even so, he was her favorite person. Who says
Wait,
I
I haven't
have
been
no
listening
life? She
because I've
mused.
been looking this up.
Oh, you've missed a
Wait,
lot of really
Zoloff
weird
thinks
shit.
her name is Cindy.
Zolov is a
Because apparently he's
90-year-old
deaf.
crazy chess player.
Okay, 90.
Yeah,
Okay,
and he
And
thinks her name
deaf.
is Cindy. And
okay,
he's deaf?
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who says I have no life? She mused as she stretched her arms behind her head, feeling the fabric of her gray t-shirt creeping over her belly button,
Ew.
as it would in 1999. She inhaled the scent of sugary nuts roasting in a pushcart nearby. This was her favorite place, and that was her favorite spell.
What the
It was so
fuck?
sweet and strong. She could practically taste it. I'm pretty sure a period's supposed to be there.
Yeah. All right. One of these days, she was going to buy a big bag of those nuts and scarf them down without even pausing to breathe. She felt a shadow come over her face and squinted one eye open. "Hey, Rennie," she said. "You ready for dimes of demonstration?" Rennie was a 13-year-old Puerto Rican boy, Gaia's second favorite person. He was a self-proclaimed poet and such a whiz at chess. He hustled great sums of money out of almost anybody who's dumb enough to sit down across from him. Today, his face didn't light up with its usual bravado.
I'm praying
Gaia sat
that
up and
his dialogue isn't also spelled out.
Oh yeah.
I-
Well, we'll ignore it if it is.
Well, yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
we
I'm not-
already
I'm
read a
not
little bit of
going
the
there.
deaf dialogue without knowing it, so it's fine.
I
Gaia
thought it
sat
was
up-
like Russian accent because his name was Zolov.
Oh.
Yeah, same.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
Well, you know what? That's our decision to make, Chris. He's fucking Russian from now on if he's ever in this book again.
He's probably a fucking spy too. They're probably all fucking spies.
I mean,
Russians are great at chess.
he is her best friend. So maybe he'll show up again.
Yeah.
Gaia sat up and put a hand over her eyes to block the sun. "You're scared I'm going to steal your money and make you cry?" she taunted. She scanned the table for a free board. As she did, her eye snagged on a new piece of graffiti splayed on the asphalt just to the left of Zolof's usual table. A swastika.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
It was at least a foot across, and the white paint was as fresh and bright as a new pair of sneakers.
Oh, my God. If she punches a Nazi, I'm going to fucking lose it. I love this book, but, like, fucking yes.
Like Kermit arms. Yay!
That'll be the clip.
Gaia's stomach was filled with lead. Could it be for her benefit? She
I
wondered.
mean, the lead wouldn't be.
Oh my god. Could somebody possibly know how the Holocaust had decimated her mother's family and made her grandparents into heroes? No, not likely. She was being paranoid. How would anyone know about her Jewish background? In fact, when she told some people, they acted all surprised. Like if your fair hair and blue eyes... Wait, like if you had fair hair and blue eyes, it wasn't possible. That really annoyed her. Her eyes flicked over the ugly shape again. Had Rennie seen it? Had Zolov? Did they think anything of it? For some reason, Rennie wasn't jumping in with his usual rhyming insults and eager put-downs. Gaia,
Rhyming
he thought of-
insults? I'm so sorry. I'm so mad that he's
What is
not.
he, Cockney?
Because I really need to know.
Rhyming... Cockney rhyming slang. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Gaia, you ought to go home, Rennie said, almost inaudibly in the direction of his sneakers. This was odd. "What's up, Rennie?" "It's gonna get dark," he noted. I'm afraid of where this is going.
Darker than this?
Thanks, Red. Good one, Chris. Thanks, Ren. He usually does. He was wearing a stiff new jacket that advertised its brand name from 3 different spots. He licked his lips.
Didn't have to do that.
What an odd detail, yeah.
They're in New York, so I'm just gonna do it. You oughta, be watching out, he continued. For
you should
what?
do him in a Cockney accent.
I can't do, wait, how's Cockney? Bob Hoskins.
I don't know, I guess.
Right?
You can do New York instead.
I'll just do New York. Well, see, I was like, Bob Hoskins is Cockney.
Hear your Bob Hoskins.
But here's the problem, Chris, is that when I think of Bob Hoskins, I think of Roger Rabbit, which is basically New York.
Yes.
So
technically you're doing Bob Hoskins.
So really, I am doing Bob Hoskins. For what? She asked. He considered this question a moment. The park is real dangerous after dark. That's my Bob Hoskins. Gaia stood impatient. She swept a strand of hair behind her ear. Rennie, cut the bullshit. What's the matter? What are you talking about? Did you hear about Lacey's sister? His face was slightly pink, and he wasn't meeting her gaze. No. Why? He was on the news and everything. All the kids are talking about it. She got slashed in the park last night. Rennie explained. She had to get sewn up from her eyebrow to her ear. God, that's awful.
You're getting
Gaia
there.
said.
No.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
You're getting there.
Okay.
Oh, the book said, God, that's awful. Sorry.
Thank you, Saul.
That was so encouraging.
That was such a nice friend moment. God, that's awful, Gaia said. What kind of blade? What kind of blade?
What a super normal question.
What? What kind of blade?
She tackled a guy that had a blade
Yeah,
the other
she
night.
grabbed-
I know, but that's
him by
still
the
a crazy
lapels. What kind of
question
blade?
for a 17-year-old girl to ask.
What was
I keep saying she's
17-year-old
neurodivergent. It's her
girl.
special interest.
Trained by her CIA father.
She's a knife girl.
Rennie gave her a strange
She's
look.
a blade babe.
Oh,
She's a blade babe.
yeah.
Was it a razor blade? Gaia persisted. I
Was
guess.
it Rusty and Cruddy?
I don't know. He looked up at her a little defiantly. How am I supposed to know? Just asking, Rennie.
All I hear is Dr. Mrs. Monarch.
Yep.
What a weird turn for Rennie, but that's how it has to be
That's
now.
how it has to be now. Just asking, Rennie. She softened her tone. Thanks for warning me. I do appreciate it. He nodded, his face growing pinker. I was just, concerned about you. He tried to look very tall as he shuffled away. Oh, Rennie. Gaia swung her beat-up messenger bag over her shoulder as she watched him. She had a bad feeling about this. She sensed that Rennie was no longer satisfied with the insular. It's not insular.
No.
Thank you. Insular. It sounds bad.
What's the next
think-
word?
World.
Okay.
I
Insular.
think that's what's throwing him for a loop is the next word.
Insular
After that.
world
You got that.
of chess misfits.
I'm writing that down. What the fuck?
You guys don't remember watching that show on Nickelodeon in the 90s, The Insular World of Chess Misfits?
I'm really glad that Bekah read these when she was younger. Otherwise, I would think this was Chat GPT.
Oh my god.
Wow. Oh, shit. Okay.
Also, why not chess fits or chiss fits?
Chess fits. Just chess misfits is so good, though. That rolls off the tongue. That rolls off the tongue the way the Insular World doesn't. He was starting to care what the big boys thought. Those
The big chess boys?
big chess boys. Those stupid boys who hung around the fountain. No, the fountain boys.
Oh, the Fountain Boys. A nemesis, natural enemy of the chess misfits.
I'm dying. Oh, trying to look tough. Reddy was smarter and funnier and more original than they'd ever be, but he was 13. He was at that brutal age when many kids would sell all that uniqueness in their character for the right pair of shoes.
True.
doll.
Is this book?
It's incredible. It's what it is. This shit's awesome.
She longed to tell him not to spend so much time in the park, to go home to his mother, but who was she to talk? Yes, Rennie might be concerned about her, but not as concerned as she was about him. She herself loved this misfit world, Gaia mused as she surveyed the tables. Curtis, a 15-year-old black kid, was sitting across from Mr. Hack, a Pakistani taxicab driver who appeared to like nothing more than parking his yellow cab on Washington Square South, then killing an afternoon over a chessboard. Who wrote this chapter? A boomer parent of ours?
I feel it feels like, again, she spent 15 years writing about two blonde girls in California, and she was like, I want to open up my world, but I do have to describe everybody in detail.
They won't know there's diversity unless I tell you everyone's race.
I'll set it in New York, but every race, gender, and age will be mentioned.
Yeah.
And I am going to spell dialogue out phonetically.
She loved that people who couldn't begin to pronounce each other's names played and talked for hours. You could try. She loved that a 40-something-year-old cab driver.
You just ask. It's not rude.
They can tell you, and then you get it right.
Yeah, Guy,
Yeah, gay what?
Gay what? She loved that a 40-something-year-old cab driver and a 15-year-old from the Manhattan Valley Youth Program had so much in common.
I don't particularly like that.
No, I don't like that at all. She loved getting a break from the stupid hierarchy of high school. She loved that there were people like him.
Oh.
Ooh.
She's a crush.
The him was walking by slowly, looking confidently over the boards in play. Also, I feel like I've only seen chess being played in New York in movies.
Yes.
I've never seen it in real life. Is this, how big of a chess fucking
Area?
encampment are we talking about?
They're in the chess district.
Yeah. All right. His hair was light in color, a tousled mixture of blonde and brown, and even a little red. That sounds insane. Why wouldn't you just pick one of those colors? And that's the color of his hair. His chinos were cuffed, and his preppy gray jacket flapped in the autumn breeze. Gaia felt her stomach do a quick pitch and roll. She felt queasy and strangely alert at the same time. You didn't find people who looked like that, as in stunningly, astonishingly good. Yeah, there's no handsome people in New York. People like him sipped coffee at Dean and DeLuca or swing danced on Gap commercials or spouted Woody Allen-style dialogue on Dawson's Creek where they belong. Did I write this in 1999?
1999, you say?
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
God.
Is this all a thought experiment where we read what you wrote? Or...
Yeah, this is me tricking you into reading the book I wrote, actually.
Oh my god, are you secretly
I had
rich?
a Gap commercial that I loved so much that I taped it on VHS and I watched it over and over.
Which one was it?
The Mellow Yellow one.
Oh, that's a good one, though.
It's a
remember that
really
one.
good one. We'll watch it later.
I remember there was a Gap commercial that had Daft Punk in it.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
And
Yeah,
then
it was them and it was like some model. And they
Yeah,
were dancing
it was-
in jeans.
yeah, it was
Ooh.
Daft Punk and this chick, and they were dancing to one of their songs off of, I think, Discovery. Yeah. And I remember that I was like, oh, I love this commercial, but I also love the song. And it was like, it took me so long because the internet barely existed.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody I knew, I lived in Annapolis and went to a Catholic school. No one knew what the fuck Daft Punk was. It took so long for me to find Daft Punk. And it was one of
just Shazam it.
There was no Shazam. There was no fucking YouTube. There was nothing. And there wasn't.
You
I
couldn't call one of
even
your
ask
older brothers
Jeeves.
into the room?
What?
You couldn't call one of your older brothers
They
into
didn't
the
like
room?
Daft Punk.
Oh.
One of them
Probably
likes
weren't
the
even
Police.
living there at the time.
One of them
Yeah.
is Police and Rush, and the other one is The Cure. And at that point,
The Cure.
yeah, like the
The
Rentals.
Pixies. Okay.
Yeah, like Pixies and Rentals. Daft Punk was fully like my
That was
discovery.
Jonathan
That's a
territory.
Daft Punk pun. That's a Daft pun.
That was the Winter of Jonathan.
That was the winter. God damn it.
So what the hell, italicized, was he doing lingering over chessboards with the freaks and geeks? She had half a mind to walk right over and tell him to get lost. This was her favorite place, and he had no business here, reminding her of the things she would never be.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Do you know when we're stopping, by the way?
No.
Just to double check. Okay. We're 15% in.
Oh, wow. I wonder how long this book is. I mean, we've only
Alright.
been
It looks
reading...
long.
We've been
Are we
reading for
doing
like an
this one?
hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And do we already know who Marco is, or is this
No.
just like a
No,
whole
that's
other
another-
fucking POV?
The whole other one.
Wait, what was the
Okay.
dad's name? His last name's Moore. though.
Oh, his
or
last name was
Tim?
Moore, and I know the guy she's living with is named like Glenn?
Or Leo?
Tom. Dad. Okay. Good call, because I should write that down.
Oh, Tom is the...
Tom is dad.
Okay.
Tom
Tom is
Moore.
dad.
Probably not his real name.
What if
Alright.
Marco's his undercover name?
Mm.
The roommates are George and Ella.
Cohabitants.
Did
Cohabitants.
she say that?
Yes, she said it
Okay.
twice.
Yep. All right.
Just like you
Don't
did.
be afraid. Thank you, Marco. You're a sweetheart. Marco nodded at the woman, making sure to tilt his chin so she had a good look at his left side, the side where his broken nose hardly showed at all. No problem. He kept his voice... Oh, sorry. No problem. He kept his voice deep and smooth. She probably thought he was like 25 or something. She took a long sip from the bottle of Coke he brought her, exposing her pale neck, so he's a vampire. What? She lifted one leg to rest on the low wall of the fountain, revealing several more inches of thigh under her stretchy aqua
She's just like Captain
miniskirt.
Morganing on the fountain.
Holy
He
shit.
tried not to stare, or did she want him to stare? So maybe this is one of the fountain boys.
I think it's one of the Fountain
Oh,
Boys.
the fountain. I already forgot about the fountain.
Oh my god, she's going straight for the Fountain Boys. She's gonna fucking, like, seduce them and then beat the shit out of them. I bet one of the Fountain Boys did the swastika.
Probably.
I don't know.
Alright.
I'm just
Be those
connecting
fountain
dots.
boys messing with
Stop.
the chess misfits.
He stopped breathing completely as she slowly brushed her fingers over his upper arm. What happened here? She asked. He glanced at the purplish bruise. He paused before answering and cleared his throat, trying to make certain his voice didn't come out squeaky. Nothing much. I got jumped last night. These three big guys thought they were like real tough. Probably black belts in karate or something, so it's
like
the
John
dude she
Travolta.
jumped from the other one.
Oh my god, he is John Travolta.
It's the dude she jumped earlier.
Oh shit!
And she predicted he would say this. She's so smart.
Oh my gosh, she's so smart.
Her eyes widened in just the way he'd hoped. You're okay? Did you call the police? Uh-huh. That's not that's not how I do things. Marco ran a hand through his dark hair. It had come out perfectly today. I've got some friends who'll back me up if those guys ever come back here. Marco loved the way she watched him when he talked, so he kept talking. He wasn't even listening to
Is
what,
that why men do
what he
that?
was saying. Yes. Man, she was gorgeous. She was older than he, 20-something at least, but sexy as hell. She had legs and arms and hair. Like some kind of goddess with her straight red hair and green eyes. And the legs on her. He couldn't look away. Why did I even ad lib?
My god!
Why did I even ad lib?
Why bother, Chris? The book's gonna do the work for you.
He'd first noticed her at the beginning of summer. All the guys noticed her. It was hard not to. She lived around here. He guessed.
She had legs.
Because she walked by his... Oh, wait, sorry. She walked by this fountain almost every afternoon. I just
He
assumed
might think it's his
boy.
fountain.
Yeah.
I'm
He
writing
wasn't the
he's
only
a
one.
fountain boy.
He wasn't the only one who
She
magically...
was a girl, he was a fountain boy.
He wasn't the only one who magically turned up each day around 4 o'clock to watch the show. Lately, he'd noticed she'd start returning his looks. Just a glance at first, but then her eyes stayed longer. Last week, she said hello to him, and he practically peed his pants.
How sexy.
Cool.
Okay. Today, she'd been late, so most of the guys had wandered away. But some kind of crazy instinct made him stay.
Does she like bathe in the fountain, or is she just a woman that's near a fountain?
I think she's just a 17-year-old girl that's...
No, she's 20.
Who?
She's older.
This is a totally different person.
Oh, this isn't Gaia?
No, it's not Gaia.
What?
I
It's
quote,
some
she's
redheaded
in her 20s
20-year-old.
or something.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, 20s or something.
20s or something. Okay, cool. Cool.
Maybe an alien.
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
Okay. You got me there.
Is that
Becca, our
really
last
a
book was
terrible
about
prediction
dinosaur people.
on the show?
Oh, no.
God.
Okay.
I love that
He
one.
took his eyes off her breasts for a moment.
Was he staring at them the entire
The whole
conversation?
time.
Yes. Oh, boy. He took his eyes off her breasts for a moment to see if he spotted anyone he knew. He would love for any one of his buddies to see him right now, staring at some boobies.
Yeah, so not to look at her eyes, but to
Yeah.
to see, like, anyone here?
Hey, guys.
Anyone see me
I-
checking out these boobs?
All right, back to the boobs.
I was just admiring your belt buckle. I'm not wearing one, and I was making sure.
All right. Just then, she reached toward his collarbone and rested her index finger on the pendant that lay there. The electricity from her touch surged through his chest and seemed to throw his heart off rhythm. What is this? Her voice was almost a whisper. Oops. I've seen this before.
Oh God, is it a swastika?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
He studied her face before he answered. He wasn't sure how much to tell. How much she really wanted to know. It's called a hieroglyph. You know. Like ancient Egyptian writing. Oh no. It's the symbol for a power.
What kind of power?
Oh, I don't like this. Where have I seen this before? Her green eyes fixed on his. His glance darted around the fountain. I don't know. Maybe he saw one of the other guys wearing it. Maybe a tattoo on somebody's arm.
Oh my
It's
God.
kind of a, I don't know, kind of a... His voice trailed off awkwardly. He didn't want her thinking he was some kind of thug. He sure didn't want anybody to overhear him telling her secret stuff.
Member of an Egyptian-themed gang.
Fucking God.
Mark, she supplied. Supply? That's a very strange.
Supplied, that's weird.
Yeah. Some sort of identification? She didn't appear wary the way most girls he knew would. Her eyes were wide and intense, fascinated.
Or she's Kim Cattrall from the movie Mannequin.
What?
Or Kim Cattrall in any episode of Sex and the City. She's like, I don't care how old you are.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like that. Ah, I see. Are you part of... Marco sucked in his breath. Suddenly, this didn't seem so cool. What if she was an undercover cop or some kind of informer? He'd heard
I don't
of
work for
stuff
a
like
mummy.
this.
I'm not part of a mummy gang.
I don't know nothing about sarcophagi. He backed
I'm
up.
not a sarcophagi.
Jesus Christ. He backed up, putting a few feet between them. I gotta be going. It's, like, after 6, and I, with 2 steps, she closed the distance. Marco, don't be afraid of me. Her fingers fluttered over his cheek. Don't tell me anything you don't want to. I'm just interested, that's all. I'm interested in everything about you. This is
in the CIA.
This is Gaia. This has
In
gotta
a
be
wig?
her. Is she wearing...
Red hair, it said red hair, long red hair.
Oh, I don't know.
Ooh, maybe she is wearing a wig and colored
She
contacts.
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put her past her. She
Oh,
changed her
right.
clothes 18
Oh.
times today.
Right, because it said green eyes. Oh my god, she's definitely wearing a wig and contacts.
Does she have green eyes?
No,
I thought
blue.
she had blue eyes, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
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 Yes, this writer is very insistent that we know everyone's demographics.
Yes.
And ethnicity. Don't tell me anything you don't want to. I'm just interested, that's all. I'm interested in everything about you. All the blood in his body seemed to pool in his head.
Which one? Am I right?
Hey! He felt dizzy. You're not like a cop or anything. He was pretty sure she'd have to say so if she were. She laughed. No, most definitely not. She gave him a look. It was a mischievous, sexy kind of look. Definitely not. What the fuck? Becca's the only one who can't see this
Tell
page.
me, read it.
But the name of this chapter is Rapunzel Monkey.
Give it back.
Well, no, I was going to read it because the last one was so short. Unless, I'm sorry, do you want to say the words Rapunzel Monkey?
Yes. Rapunzel Monkey. Who doesn't want to say that? It's great.
What?
It feels great to say it.
It does. It feels good.
I'm always afraid of what's happening next.
God, I am.
How long is going to be revealed to be something terrible?
Oh, no.
Monkeys-
And then we said it. That's
Monkeys
okay.
don't have hair that
just
long.
happy.
How did they breed a monkey with such long hair?
Monkeys don't have hair that long.
I'm just happy you guys are seeing it too.
Oh, man. Yeah. Wow. This book is good.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Okay.
All I remembered was her name is Gaia and she can't feel fear. I didn't remember any single other detail.
You didn't remember reading the words Rapunzel
Fuck.
Monkey?
No, I did not.
Oh, fuck.
Well, back in 1999, that was a normal occurrence.
That's true. Yeah. Gaia smacked this shortwave radio that sat on the table next to the bed. What? Her bed. She had trouble thinking of anything in this house as hers. Piece of crap, she murmured. She'd picked up the radio at a junk shop on Canal Street. She'd gotten it to tune into the local police frequency, but the damn thing emitted almost nothing but static. She rearranged the antenna she'd rigged until she heard a break in the fuzz. What is she, in The Incredibles? Like, crazy. She rolled off the bed and walked to the window. Ah, that was good. She could decipher various bleeps that sounded almost like words. She stood by the door. Oh, it liked that. I'm not adding anything. Now she could actually understand the words. Bzz, McDougal and LaGuardia. Bzz, slashing victim. Female African-American in her 30s. Bzz, young male perpetrator. Bzz. Damn it. She tried jumping up and down. Lost him in the park. Bzz. Shit. Gaia grabbed the radio and threw it off the table. What a stupid hobby. Why couldn't she just watch Roswell like a normal girl?
I loved Roswell. I fucking wrote this book.
You did. This is awesome.
Oh my god, I loved Roswell. Holy shit. Annamarie, did you watch Roswell?
No, I don't even know what it's
okay.
about. I'm sorry.
I
It
did.
was about some aliens and some other kids.
Okay.
One of them
It
was
was like a
Captain
It was
Heigl.
like teenage heartthrob
Yeah,
show,
teenage heartthrob aliens.
but in it with aliens. It was like what if Dawson's Creek was in Nevada.
yes.
And 3 of them were aliens. And one of them was Katherine
Oh my
Heigl.
god, that was so like Roswell started airing in 1999.
Holy shit. That's amazing. Well, for one thing, because television was in the so-called family room, it would mean walking past, possibly even fraternizing with George and his bimbo bride. It wasn't that she didn't like George. She did. He was trying really hard to make her feel comfortable. He tried so hard, in fact, that she found it awkward to be around him. He put on this peppy voice and asked her about her classes and her friends. What was she going to say? I see my math teacher through crosshairs. My best friend has Alzheimer's. George wanted something within the universe of normal, and she simply couldn't give him that. By the way, did you discover that there was a TV show? Because you were looking that up for a while.
Oh, yes. Also, now I'm looking up a bunch of stuff about Roswell. So, they made a pilot
Oh.
that was never aired for Fearless.
On the CW?
It doesn't say.
Probably would have been UPN.
Yeah,
Or-
it definitely would
Lupin.
be CW or like Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I wonder if it's on like YouTube, if it's been like put on YouTube.
Or
I-
the USA Network.
I don't know, but Rachel Lee Cook played Gaia.
What? Oh, that's such
And-
perfect, timely casting.
How good for her career that it never got made.
Or terrible.
I don't know who Eric Balfour is, but his name sounds familiar. He was
Yeah.
in it.
That does sound familiar.
Ian Somerhalder was in it.
What?
Oh.
But also, according to IMDb, she was aged up, so she's like 21 and working for the FBI, not like a high school student.
Maybe she gets there in the series of books.
Yeah, maybe.
That's dumb. They should have made it high school. That's way more interesting.
Yeah, someone's credited as a young Gaia.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
yep,
amazing.
there's the pilot.
That's awesome.
And then it never went forward.
So sad.
Ella was another story. Stupid, vain Ella. She genuinely disliked. Yeah, we get
Jesus,
it.
yeah, we get
it. There were Ella's fingernails, her passion for Victoria's Secret catalogs, her love of Mariah Carey. That was about it for Ella. How in the world had a sensible man like George fallen prey to a tardy young thing like her? And God, he had fallen. Gaia really needed some air. She strode to the door of the room and listened for signs of life. What sucked was that her room was on the 4th floor of a 4-story house. She hid up there during the little time she spent in the house because she hated walking past every other room on her way out and in. She was like a latter-day Rapunzel, except her hair was only a few inches below her shoulders, slightly fried, not all that blonde, and furthermore, who the hell was ever going to climb up to give her a hand? The guy in the wheelchair from school? I was too loud last time, so I was trying to keep the mic further away.
Oh.
Last time I listened, I was really loud.
Okay.
What she and Rapunzel frankly needed was a decent ladder. Gaia opened the door slowly. Hopefully George was still at work and Ella was... Whoever knew where Ella was? By profession, Ella considered herself a photographer, but Gaia had a hard time taking her seriously. It gave Ella an excuse to saunter through hip downtown neighborhoods with a camera slung over her shoulder. What's wrong with that? It sounds really fun. Apparently she got the odd commission to photograph somebody's dog or living room or something.
Even better.
We need to make a drinking game out of this book.
Yeah.
Of every time it says or something. I can't think of a third example.
Yeah.
Her work, as George called it in his pious way, was displayed over most of the wall space in the house. I'm so tired. Mostly arty black and white pictures of dolls' heads and high-heeled shoes.
Well, that's her work?
Apparently, Ella's work.
Okay.
Maybe Ella's cool.
She sounds cool. She sounds fine. Thank God for the automatic camera that makes it all possible, Gaia thought sarcastically as she crept through the hallway down the stairs.
Give her a chance.
At the second landing, she was faced once again by the photograph. Most days she averted her eyes. Although Ella hadn't taken it, it was by far the most upsetting in the house. It was a picture of an 11-year-old Gaia with her parents, snapped by George the week he visited them at their country house in the Berkshires.
Once Gaia looked at the photo, she found it hard to look away, and after that, hard to get her mind to cooperate with her. The Gaia in the picture made her think of a little monkey clinging to her dad with long, skinny arms, her wrists circled by several filthy friendship bracelets. Friendship bracelets are never filthy, they are pure.
Yeah.
Her narrow shoulders lost in the beloved brown fisherman's sweater he'd bought for her on a trip to Ireland. Gaia's smile was big and exuberant, so pitifully unaware of what the next year would bring. Now Gaia moved her gaze to her mother.
Is that what she was wearing to school? It said she was in brown.
Oh, I don't think it said.
It said brown.
But it said
She was wearing
brown.
Or she shit her pants.
It's probably that
Yep.
one.
Probably.
She is fearless.
Now Gaia moved her gaze to her mother, even as she willed herself not to. If Gaia's face in the picture was all embarrassing openness, her mother's was pure mystery. No matter how many times Gaia searched it, no matter how clearly she saw those features, she felt she couldn't tell what her mother really looked like. She needed something from that face that it never gave. The same miserable questions started their spiraling march through Gaia's brain. Why am I holding Daddy and not you? Why aren't I beautiful like you? Did you love me anyway? Did you ever know how much I loved you? And then, as always, the thoughts got so unfathomably sad. They didn't even come in words. Her throat started to ache, and her vision swam. She couldn't pull enough air into her lungs. Without exactly realizing what she was doing, her hand shot out and yanked the framed photograph off the wall.
Couldn't she just say to George, like, hey, this really fucking bums me out.
Yeah.
Can you put it anywhere else?
This really fucks me up when I walk past it, George.
What are you doing? Gaia spun around. Her heart was bouncing in her chest, and it took her a moment to focus her eyes on Ella. She cleared her throat. She took a deep breath. She tried to rearrange her posture into something less rigid. Yeah, because rearranging your posture makes you seem less rigid. I am removing this picture from the wall. Can I ask why? Sure.
Ella waited impatiently. Okay, why? Gaia placed the picture face down on the bookcase. She glanced at her watch. I didn't say I'd answer. Ella got that eye-rolling martyred look. Gaia, you know George loves that picture. He put it up for you. Gaia cleared her throat again. She tried shrugging, but it didn't come off with indifference she was aiming for. If George put it up for my benefit, he won't mind if I take it down. Ella's hands found their way to her hips as they mostly did within a few minutes of starting a conversation with Gaia. I swear, Gaia, George does so much for you. I would think you could at least. Gaia turned out the shrill voice as she made... Gaia tuned out the shrill voice as she made her way down the rest of the steps and out the front door. She knew every word of the speech. There wouldn't be any vocabulary words or...
Dever? Wait.
I've never seen that word before.
It's gotta be some weird scan. It's gotta be clever.
Yeah.
It must be a weird scan.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Must be clever.
Ella wasn't going to surprise her. Gaia took the sidewalk at a near run. She felt like she might explode. The sky was darkening as she turned left on West 4th Street, leaving bustling outdoor cafes, overpriced little restaurants, all-night delis, her favorite subterranean record shop behind in a blur. She headed straight for the park. No one was going to scare her out of her shortcut. And certainly not tonight. Not in the mood she was in. And in fact, she hoped they'd try. Let them find her instead of some kid or some old guy who wouldn't know how to handle it. Maybe if she did this enough, those creeps would learn that everyone who looked vulnerable wasn't necessarily so. What a gorgeous lesson to teach them. After all, wasn't that what her gifts were all about? Power to the little people.
Oh my god. Ba, 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 ba. Oh boy.
So this book is fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
This book is awesome.
Yeah.
I love this. I love whatever this is. It's so weird. Oh my god. Thank you, Bekah, for bringing this into our lives.
Thank Francine Pascal.
Thank you, Francine. R.I.P.
Or whoever wrote
she
it
did
for
die.
her.
Yeah.
Oh, she did?
She died last year, like very recently.
I just learned of her.
Oh no.
Well,
If this is one of her ghost-written books, I'd love to see the fucking outline.
I mean,
That she
this is
wrote.
the first book of a new series. I'm sure she wrote this one.
yeah, I would say she probably wrote this.
There were
one.
like 80 Sweet Valley books. I'm sure she had those ghost
Yeah,
written,
those are
but-
still going on. She was like, I got this idea called Fearless. You
Yeah.
guys got this shit, right? The Wakefields, they're
Yeah.
crazy.
One's
imagine
insane,
she's, like,
one's
old.
boring. You got it.
Yeah, I imagine she's like old Lucille Ball. Like, young girl, fearless, write it. Yeah, just take it from
She
there.
had another series called the Victoria Martin Trilogy.
Oh.
Oh.
My Mother Was Never a Kid is the title of it.
What?
Victoria Martin's mother will never understand her.
What does that
Her
mean?
mother was never a kid.
My mother was never a kid.
Yeah.
Like a Benjamin
Interesting.
Button situation?
Or like
Yes.
a Michael Jackson.
Well, no, we got more content for once we work through this series.
Yeah. Annamarie, what did you think of this? Of Fearless?
I'm in it.
Yeah.
I do have fear. I'm afraid of where this is heading.
Me too. Yeah.
Especially with the swastikas.
Yeah. There's definitely Nazis
If
in this
Nazis
book.
are the bad guys in it, though, it's
Oh my
gonna be
God.
fucking awesome.
Well, she's definitely gonna fuck them up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Fucking
That's
kill those Nazis.
Because she's got diesel arms.
Yeah. I hope she takes Marco and drowns him in the fountain.
And I hope she befriends the kid in the wheelchair.
Yes.
And he can also run over the Nazis if he
Yeah. I want her to like hold
Smash him up.
Marco, who's a Nazi, in the fountain like head first, and like every time she pulls his head up for air, she yells like Hitler is a bitch, and then like puts his head back into the fountain.
And he's like, "It's a hieroglyph. It's Egyptian." He's like, "What are you talking about?"
He's just like coughing. It's like no white power. Oh.
It's an ancient Buddhist symbol.
It's a hieroglyph.
Oh.
It's
I
Native
hope it
American.
isn't something. I hope the pendant wasn't a swastika, and then
Yeah.
he has to explain that like
That doesn't make
was
any
an
sense.
Indian symbol for good luck.
Oh, the
or
pendant's
some
definitely
shit
a
like
swastika. It's
Well,
definitely
I
what it
looked
was.
at the Egyptian symbol for power, and it's not a swastika, but he was probably just lying
He's
about what it
lying.
meant.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, she's a cop. She'll know I'm a Nazi.
Tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, exactly. What's gonna happen next time on Fearless?
Yay!
This is fantastic. I love this.
I'm so glad.
This is so
It's so
good.
much crazier than I remembered.
Yes. Oh man.
all.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Annamarie, thank you so much for coming back and being our first guest on this book, and hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Is there anything you would like the listeners to know about?
Did you
I heard water's pretty popular now.
water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay hydrated. I sorry, got nothing.
That's
Just surviving.
That's fine. Just survive. I think that's good advice. Is just survive.
Yeah, just survive.
Do what you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
Yeah. Chris, before I do my spiel, is there anything you would like to plug?
I would love to plug The Sketchy Show, a improv sketch comedy podcast hosted by Sketchy, the sketch comedy robot. It stars me, Jonathan, and very frequently returning champion on this show, John Walker.
Our closer.
And where we improv sketch comedy, and Jonathan does his little computer magic and makes it into something that kind of makes sense, and it is a good time.
Thank you. Yeah, The Sketchy Show is one of our other podcasts that you can follow on cactusrodeo.com/podcast, and you can follow The Sketchy Show on Instagram and TikTok. Speaking of Instagram, TikTok, and this show, you can follow Below Grade Level on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on Blue Sky.
No.
You should move it over there.
Well, I don't want to make another account.
Yeah.
Fuck. For now, you can follow it Below Grade Level on Instagram and TikTok, and you can follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook until I finally decide to delete all of those things. I am on Blue Sky. You can find me. I think I'm just John Brack at Blue Sky. That's basically the only place I'm going to personally post anymore. But you can find this show wherever you can find podcasts. So if there's an ethical way to do that, I encourage you to. And with that, thanks for listening. Find out what happens next time when we keep reading Fearless by Francine Pascal. And we love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Also, I'm thinking about coming out with a podcast app where like you have to like sacrifice a small animal to download an episode.
What's it called?
unethical podcast app.
Oh, okay. I thought you had like a pun ready.
I didn't.
I didn't.
You're
I
gonna
thought
have
it
to
would
cut
come to
that
me.
so fast
I know.
before Chris talks.
No, I'm gonna leave that in.
Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.